Alright, so in our second video with log properties, we're going to kind of go backwards now. So in the last video we took an expanded version of logs and condensed it down. Today we're going to do or in this video we're going to do the exact opposite. We're going to take something that's already condensed and expand it out. You may think, why are we doing this? Really, it's just to enhance our knowledge of those properties. So we're really going to focus on these three main properties up here. But now we're moving forward. So if we have a multiplication, we're going to separate it out as addition. If we have division, we're going to separate it out as subtraction. If we have something to a power, we can bring it out in front, or we can put it back, or we're going to take it out front because we're looking to expand. So for an example, we have the first one here. We're going to do the log of x over the square root of x squared plus 1. And the directions for this are going to be to write as a sum or difference of logs with no exponents on quantities. So no large exponents. So what we're going to do first is take that expression that we have, and the last thing we're going to do is take exponents out in front. We're going to start off by using the property of division, which means to subtract the logs. So I'm going to rewrite this as the log of, my top is x, and the bottom is the square root of x squared plus 1. There's nothing I can do with that first log now at this point, so I think that one's set, ready to go. But if I look at the second log, x squared plus 1 is really, sorry, the square root of x squared plus 1 is really x squared plus 1 to the 1/2 power. So when I deal with that, so again, I'm going to write this as log of x squared plus 1 to the 1/2 power. I'm going to take that 1/2 exponent and bring it out in front. And I'm going to put those in parentheses just to be clear that it's not log of x squared and then plus 1, but it's log of x squared plus 1. There's no exponent on this quantity, so there's really nothing else I can do. This isn't factorable. There's not really much to do. I think this is going to be our final answer here. Even though I've got an exponent on that too, I really can't do anything with that. So what if we change this up a little bit? If I do example 2, we have log of x squared minus 1 divided by x to the third. And there's a lot of different approaches we can take. One is start dividing all that stuff out. But I think what I want to do first is just separate it out like we normally would. So using our subtraction property, if my pen works, there we go. It's going to give us log of x squared minus 1 minus log of x to the third. Technically, I should keep going, and I'm going to do that here in just a second. I know I can bring that 3 out in front, but I can do something else with the x squared minus 1. Now, it's not really necessary, but I can actually factor that to x plus 1 and x minus 1. So to do that, the reason I might want to do that is because that becomes a multiplication problem, which then I can apply that property that says to add the logs. So it's going to become log of x plus 1 plus log of x minus 1, and bringing the 3 out in front, minus 3 log of x. What about a problem like this? The log of x squared over y to the third taken to the 1/2 power. There's a lot of different approaches we can take. One is to take that 1/2 out now because it is an exponent, then separate them out, and then bring some more exponents out as well. I'm going to take a little bit different approach though. I'm going to use one of my exponent rules. Because I'm actually taking a power to a power, I'm going to take that 1/2 power and distribute it to both my exponents. So that's going to give me the log of, well, x to the second to the 1/2 would be just x. Y to the third to the 1/2 would be y to the 3/2 power. And then from there, it's just a simple subtraction property application. So log of x minus log of y to the 3/2, which I can then take my exponent 3/2. I can bring it out front. I'm running out of colors here. Minus 3/2 log of y, and that's about as far as I can go. Let's try one more. All right, this is log of x to the third square root of 1 plus x over x minus 2 squared. Now notice the squared is just on the x minus 2. So again, I'm looking at what properties I've got. I've got the division property going on, so I'm going to deal with that first. I'm going to make that log of x to the third plus, I'm doing plus because I can see they're being multiplied here, log of the square root of 1 plus x, which again is 1 plus x to the 1/2. I'm going to rewrite that right now, actually, just to make it easier in the future. And then minus log of x minus 2 squared. So when I use my properties, take my exponent down, gives me 3 log of x plus, take that 1/2 down, 1/2 log of 1 plus x, and then minus 2 log of x minus 2. There's no multiplication or division or exponents left inside any of these expressions right here, so there's nothing else I can do to make that simpler. That's about as far as I can go. And again, that's the idea here that we're trying to do, is we're trying to just take those properties and expand it out until we can't expand any further, until there's no multiplication or division or exponents with on a quantity that we can get rid of.